IBC 2006 has taken the adoption by reference as far as it can be taken, I think. I don't know if you have figured it out. If you have 2006 IBC but do not have a copy of ASCE 705, you will not be able to do much by way of structural design. On the other hand, if you have just ASCE 705 but not the code, depending upon what you are doing, you may not miss the code at all. So no, that's what it has come to. So chapter 16 has very little left in it. Materials chapters have very little left in it. So for the structural engineer, you need the code now pretty much only for chapter 17 and 18, just so that you know. And this is in itself a big change from IBC 2003, which in many ways was a transition document between IBC 2000, which was very much like the UBC, and IBC 2006, which, as I said, just references standards in the structural area. If you do UBC 97 wind design in conjunction with the strength design load combinations of the IBC, then yes, you go back to 1.3 load factor on the wind. It's no question about it, okay? Or you are allowed to, I should say. In ACI 318, where we now reproduce ASCE load combinations, we tell you that in black and white in the standard itself. So yes, I think the best way to put it these days, it is extremely important to know whether wind includes directionality or whether it does not. If it includes directionality, the correct load factor is 1.6. If it does not include directionality, the correct load factor is 1.3. Q sub z and K sub z, z being any height, z feet above ground level. In wind design, according to ASCE 7, you will see that some of the time, but more often than not, you will see Q sub h, K sub h. H is the mean roof height, height to a point halfway between the eave and the ridge. Very, very important in ASCE 7 wind design, as will become apparent as I take you through a little bit more. So keep that in mind. Z is a variable, any height above ground level. H for a given building is a fixed height, mean roof height. And as I said, more often than not, you will see not Q sub z, K sub z, but Q sub h, K sub h.
There's actually a new provision in ASCE 705, but I don't think you'll be able to use it if this is so specifically outlined in the Oregon State Code. But now it says it gives criterion for determining wind speeds in special regions, special wind regions. And it states also that if you use this criteria in any area of the U.S., you can use a lower wind speed than what the map requires. Okay, that is new language in ASCE 705. So be aware of that. However, I'm sure that the Oregon State Code would take precedence over anything in ASCE 705. But if you're designing elsewhere, that's good to know. In the 2006 IBC, the seismic provisions have shrunk again because of the reliance on ASCE 705. We're down to one section, just like live loads only has one section, dead loads only has one section. In the IBC now, seismic loads only has one section. We still have the maps in the 2006 IBC, which take up a bunch of pages unnecessarily, in my opinion. And we have enough information in the IBC in order to determine the seismic design category. And that's about it. That's all there is. There is a charging statement at the beginning of Section 1613 that says you shall go to ASCE 705 for seismic design, except you will not, and you will use chapters 11 through 23 of ASCE 705. However, you will not use chapter 14 and appendix 11A. Does anybody know why you don't use those chapters? Well, I'll tell you why.